So this is Don Q. Now, when I heard his name, I thought, somebody is inspired by Don Quixote, one of the best literary works in the English language, and probably is somewhat deep. And you know what? I looked at this guy and I'm like, okay, let's not judge books by its cover. And then I heard his voice and I got flashbacks of Jim Jones. And I was like, damn, this guy sounds like Jim Jones. What's up with that? And his content is nothing to write home about. But the guy, you can tell he at least tries with his lyrics. And that's all I can ask for these days. You know, starting out with a track like Rap, he has this very clever line where he says he counts his blessings, then he prays, which was pretty cool. He also has this line where he says that he tutors trappers, which is also a pretty cool line, by the way. But then he has this line where he says he mentions that he tutors trappers, I guess since he's an OG, but it definitely shows that he's an OG when he says he does the electric slide. Like, I'm asking myself, who the hell does the electric slide? I mean, come on, man. Who does that? And he also says that if the rap game gets cold for 1 month, he goes back to selling drugs, which I'm like, come on, man. Like, really, you that thirsty for money? You must not be making any major cash in the rap gang. But hey, you have a song like Trap Phone, which is pretty nice. And actually, Designer, I have to give it to him. He does not sound like Future on this track. And he actually sounds like he may have a future when he was spitting on this track. I was very amazed. In DQ, he has this questionable line where he says he pays his accountant to pay his accountant. And I'm like, wow, that seemed like a waste of money. But you know what? Maybe he has different accountants, I guess. I don't know. But he has this incredible, amazing line where he says he's a product of his environment. Then he gets the product and sell it to his environment. I thought that was pretty cool. And Designer has this line where he says he will whack a cop, and I'm like, wow, man, that's some deep stuff. Words of Wisdom has Pusher T doing this whole Back to the Future reference, which now I'm thinking Designer, Future, Back to the Future, just so much future appearing in this album. But I like how he says, Pusher T says that he's Marty McPie and have 1,000 of O's, which could be a reference to the 2000s, which I thought that was pretty cool. Now, towards the end of the record, you have a lot of repetitive themes, like a Pedal of Water. It kind of has this recurring theme of using jewelry as in a reference to water, which I think really was popularized by the Amigos. You have Personal, where he has this simp balladry, stuff like that. And then you have Head Tap, which, you know what? I just have to say, T Grizzly really saves this track. This is the second track that I'm going to overall hear where T Grizzly saves one track out of a pretty lukewarm or album, I have to say, just giving you a heads up. But yeah, T Grizzly, he really has some quotables. Like he says, he shouts out to people who's praying for him, which is pretty nice, always nice to do. And he has so much flavor and personality on the album, on at least this track. True or Not, it's a little repetitive where he says true or not, true or not. And the Coke on the Dresser reference, where he says he's too lazy to sell it, you get it. I'm like, man, okay, so you're quick to return to the Coke game, but you're too lazy to serve your like clients. I'm like, wow, man. But hey, that's how I feel. And don't talk, he does this whole reference to how he was poor, and he has this reference to how he was raised by a single mother, 2 bedroom, and how his life is not a film, or I guess a fairy tale. It'll work more if he said fairy tales, because a whole bunch of films show single mothers and being raised by single mothers and relatively crowded housing. So I'm like, man, instead of your life being a film, it's more or less a TV show, and it's good times, or at least what's happening, stuff like that. But hey, overall, about this whole, I think this is an EP. Like, usually with EPs, I would grade it on song by song. But you know what? I'll make an exception. So I'm going to give this album, or at least EP, a 5, because I know it's an EP. And I have to hear more of his material in the future. But overall, he's okay. 5 would do it for me. He kind of sounds like he kind of sounds like Jim Jones, a mixture of Jim Jones with a little bit of Rick Ross. And I'm going to look out for his future endeavors. I'm kind of giving the high rating because I like the features on this little EP, and it's only like 20 minutes, so I haven't heard a full of his material yet and stuff like that. And that's how I feel. Please like, subscribe, share to the channel. And what do you feel about this new album or EP? And shout outs to the rap reviewer.